How you doing, YouTube? Back again. 2 live on a Sunday. It's nice out. We're going to be doing our thing. Hopefully everything doesn't break. In the previous review I did, it was a mystery beer, but after that we did a little bit of kind of me yammering about random stuff. And I talked about a podcast I did recently with a brewery that is starting up. So windy, that camera almost fell over. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. But I talked about a podcast I did with a brewery that's opening in North Jersey, Muckraker Beer Maker. I forgot I actually have one of his beers. Now this is a homebrew version of what he's done. The brewery actually, it's producing beer, I believe, like right now, but this is the stuff they produced previously. So I figured I'd open it because I really wanted to. I had it before when I actually sat down with Tom and did the podcast and stuff. He opened one of these while we were there, but I'm sitting outside, talked about the brewery. Need a reason to drink it, so I figured I'd open it now. Kind of talk about it on camera and just yammer and whatnot. I don't know the name of this beer. I don't know if he has a name for this beer, but this is a, I don't know what he sadly called it. It's a wild beer, spontaneously fermented beer that was brewed or aged on peaches, and it, what else was in it? It had figs and figs with it, peaches, but then it had gin barrels and Chardonnay barrels involved also. Right?
Was it figs?
There's definitely figs in it. I remember
the peaches.
Yeah, so peaches, figs, a whole bunch of stuff. But we can drink it, so we'll see what's what. You got a bottle opener? I don't know where I put mine. So as Keith procures a bottle opener, sweet Dogfish Head bottle opener, because that works. A little hiss on there. I don't think we got a hiss off the last one, so we'll see what's what. So let's do this. We'll give you the old double glass pour here, see if we can do this proper. It's a little bit undercarbonated. It was when we actually had it, and I'm assuming it is much now. There's all kinds of, probably it was a little too aggressive with those pours, poured a little bit too much funkiness in there, but such is life. I'll give Keith that one because it has more funk in it. But yeah, what are we talking about? We're talking about a soft, what would you call that? Peach juice. Kind of just looks like peach juice, to be perfectly honest with you. Soft peach juice, a little bit of soft haze to it, not a full-on haze, nothing too crazy, and she kind of looks like, you know, it could be a multitude of beers. Could be Saison, could even be somebody's version of a double IPA. Not much of a head to speak of because it is not fully carbonated yet, but we're okay with that. A little bit of legs going on, not too shabby. Let's get a whiffy poo. Yeah, I mean, there's that. It's not gin, super gin forward. It's more botanicals. It's like the botanicals we have in gin are just super fucking explosive. Floral. It's like floral is the word I would use. It's just super vibrant, super flowery, super that botanical portion of the show. Just super vibrant. I remember getting a more impactful kind of fruit, whether it be the fig or the peach, on the nose. I'm not really getting it much here. I'm just getting hit over the face, that potpourri level kind of floralness. Just a richness. Yeah. It smells pretty, just not as impactful as it was when we had it. But I think the other one we didn't huff as much. We actually dived right into the sip. Let's see what she's got. Cheers. Yeah, it's got a beautiful pop of tartness. Like it hits you with this, like, what would you associate that with, Keith? Like that tartness. It's not like sweet tarty. It's almost like a vinaigrette on a salad kind of tartness.
Like sweet tarts, sweet tarts without the sweetness. Like it's just that little.
But there's a sweetness to it.
No, there is a sweetness, but it's not that
candy confectionery super sweetness. It's more of an organic sweetness. You get a decent amount of peaches on there. I get a ton of figs. I remember talking about that last time. And Keith and Tom went heavily on the peaches for this. And I do get peaches in here, but it's an unripened, like, peach puree kind of thing going on. Where the figs, for me, I'm a fig junkie. I like my Belgian ales. I like my rich, deep, dark beers that end up either coming out with figs from the get or end up kind of slowly kind of aging into that delicious toffee, figgy, datey thing I love so much. I'm getting that in heaping helpings here. The Chardonnay barrel adds that kind of balance to it because there is a decent amount of sweetness and there's a tartness to it, but that adds like a level. I don't even know if it's acidity. It's just another level of tartness. But then you have that gin barrel, which to me, like I said, adds that botanical to it, adds that kind of floral character that's like kind of like the soul of the whole beer, but also adds the, how do I put it? To me, gin has this kind of seltzer thing going on to where it's like a carbonic acid to where it's almost like a bittering component. It's almost acting like a hop thing for me. I know it's kind of weird, but it's fun. But my whole point of drinking this is not to sit here and kind of beer review it, because for all intents and purposes, this is homebrew. And most of the times I do homebrew reviews, but this is a brewery that's actually coming out and going to be producing kind of wild ales, heavily fruited, real fruit-leaning, kind of wild, spontaneously fermented beers. So it's kind of like a weird beer that it's kind of like, it's technically not a brewery, but it is a brewery kind of thing. That's more just because I talked about it in a previous video, and I figured I might as well kind of bring it out and drink some, kind of show you guys. But no, it's beautiful, and this is kind of going to show you any of the beers that Tom over at Muckraker is going to bring. It's going to be delicious because I want you to think fruited lambic. I want you to think fruited Belgian Seine Valley beers. How do I put it? It doesn't taste exactly like that because I don't think you can accomplish that unless you live in that environment and you're kind of picking off their terroir and all that shit of what they're doing there. But it has that kind of loose template of what he's trying to accomplish, but with what he has to work with in the environment he has to work with where he's brewing. So it's going to be a super fun brewery. Definitely worth checking out if you are relatively close to this area, whether you be in, eastern PA, southern New York City, northern Jersey, that kind of thing. And just another fun little brewery to add to the list of, I think we're kind of like spoiled with breweries, to be perfectly honest with you, here in North Jersey. Like I moved from Northeast PA. Like I am an hour and a half. Let's say an hour and a half. I am an hour and a half from every brewery in kind of the East Coasty area. That, not every, but a good portion. From New York City breweries to Hudson Valley to Philly to, getting down closer, not necessarily DC, but getting down towards DC. Those kind of areas. I'm an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And I can go to, if we make the marker 2 hours, from Suarez to DC to, you know what I mean, to Philly to New York. We're kind of spoiled out here. But what I think this area does lack is this kind of beer. There's great ones out there. You know what I mean? There's breweries. Cape May makes great beers down there. The Referend is absolutely fantastic. Even a little bit further west, Drylock does a lot of spontaneously fermented wild stuff that's absolutely delicious. And there's people doing these things. Dan up in Suarez is King Shit of Fuck Mountain and stuff like that. There's great breweries being done this way. But I don't think a lot of people have focused on that more kind of fruit driven. Not that he's going to be all fruit. In summertime, you got to make those saisons, baby, and kind of pump them out. But it'll be a fun addition to Jersey. So there you go. A quick little kind of, not necessarily a review, even though I talked about it that way. More of kind of just, I talked about the brewery earlier, so I figured I'd pop open up here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little talk real quick, or a little chat, or I don't know what the fuck you want to call it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a little bit of beautiful weather. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.